Here we go.
Let's flip over to page 52. Now, while we're building rapport, we're also going to investigate. Before we move on to investigating, I want to ask a couple of questions, and I want you guys to build rapport with you. So I'm going to go around the room. All of you are one salesperson. Since we're going into investigating, you want to make sure you have some really good rapport with me. I'm the customer. I'm the customer, and all of you in here are a salesperson. So all I want you to do is build rapport with me. Forget we're selling a car. Forget all that stuff. You just want to know about me. You just met me today, and you want to know a little bit more. And you can start with the same question that you asked me earlier.
Where are you from?
I'm from New Orleans.
Hey,
Build
do you have
rapport.
any kids?
Do I have kids? Yes, I have 3.
Are you a Saints fan?
Yes, I am. We lost yesterday. Dang. I got to go. You got a card? No, I'm just kidding. Build rapport.
Do you like football?
Yes, I love football. I bleed purple and gold. You want to see?
Who's from college then?
What's that? LSU.
LSU?
Yes.
Really?
You're supposed to act like you didn't know me. Build rapport.
I heard you mention earlier you have kids. Do you have both girls and boys?
Actually, I have 2 girls, and the youngest one's a boy. Very good.
What are you
Build
driving
rapport.
now?
I'm driving M45. Thing's killing me in gas. It's a good investigative question.
Do you travel a lot?
Yes. Build rapport.
How long have you been in this area?
I've been here in Charlotte, shoot, about all my life now. I moved here when I was 13. I can't even do the math on that. I'm getting old. Good job. All right, now investigate.
Are you looking for a car, truck, SUV?
Actually, I was looking for, I think that I want to go with an SUV, but I don't want anything that's going to be like crazy, you know, with the gas prices and everything, the way they're going up and down lately.
Yeah, I can appreciate that.
But I think I want an SUV. Very good. All right, now let's get into either or questions before we move on, because we're going to have to be able to mix it up. Keep the sale on track. Page 52, right at the top. Keep the sale on track. Mix it up. Stay in control. Control the process, not the customer. Control the process, not the customer. I remember when I first got in the car business, what did they tell me? My manager said, get control of the customer. If you drop your pen on the ground, they should pick it up. Get control. Right, Ed? Did somebody not teach us that yesterday? I mean, if they drop their pen on the ground, that demonstrates that you're in control. Yeah, be a man. Okay, whatever. Control, control. What they really meant was control the process. Control the situation. You see, people don't want to come in and deal with a professional who's absolutely just all over the board and doesn't have any control of the situation. They want to deal with someone who has confidence and who has the ability to take the customer and control the whole situation while they're at the dealership. They want someone who's going to listen to them. They want someone who's going to be kind. They want someone who's going to control the whole process. Because are we the professional? We're the professional. Can you imagine going to the doctor and we go in and tell the doctor what to do? It sounds kind of funny, but how many times have you seen customers come into the dealership and you got a salesperson chasing around asking them random questions about their hobbies? And the customer's just leading the salesperson all around the lot because they don't have control of the process. So let's look about this controlling the process thing. A string of either-or questions will sound like an interrogation, like we talked about. You must mix up either-or with open-ended questions and continue to mix personal and vehicle questions. This balance creates natural flow and builds a relationship and trust and sincerity. So remember, building rapport and investigating, they go together. Build rapport, investigate. Build rapport, investigate. Is this your first time to our dealership, or have you been here before? Oh, really? What special promotion brought you in our dealership? Have you been looking for very long or just getting started? By the way, how many kids do you folks have? Do they go Serrano or Fairmont School? Which activities are they involved with? There's just some good examples on the page here. Now, I'll give you a quick tip. The more open-ended either or and yes questions you write out, the more you'll have in your vocabulary. And when you're with a customer and you know these questions and you have them stored in your memory, they'll come out and it'll be kind of natural. So when you go to take a customer, you'll be unconsciously competent. You guys know what the 4 levels of learning are? The first one is unconscious incompetence. That means that you don't know what you don't know. You just don't know. You haven't learned it. The second level of learning is conscious incompetence. That means that you learned a new way of doing things, but you haven't had it mastered yet, but you recognize that it works. So you're like, wow, that's pretty cool. I might use that. It sounds like that would work. So we go practice it, and we practice it because we heard something and we liked it. So we go practice it so we can do it ourselves. Now we're consciously incompetent. I know that works, but I don't know how to do it yet. Okay, the third level, we're consciously competent. We practiced it, we learned it, and now we think about it and we do it. But we have to think about it first. What was that I just learned? And we think about it and we say it and we do it. So that's consciously competent. Now the fourth level of learning is where we all want to be with our skills. That's unconsciously competent. That means you're not even thinking about it, you're just doing it. When you go home from work every day, don't you just kind of like take the normal same path? Sometimes we drive home unconscious. You ever get home and you figure out how you got there? Like, I don't even remember driving home. I was on the phone, I was doing this, I was doing that. How did I get here? Does that ever happen? Your unconscious mind is extremely powerful, but you don't have to think about it. You just do it. So you guys want to get to a point to where you can use these questions and not think about it. Does that make sense? Because once you're not thinking about it, you're asking these questions constantly. You're asking them all the time, and it's just an effective way of communicating. We don't want to trick, swindle, or hustle. We don't. A lot of people think that sales is like this covering up job, where we have to hide things. Really, selling means to serve, and you can write that on the page there. Selling means to serve. If we serve and take care of people, then we'll get everything that we want and more. But by learning these skills, we're learning how to communicate effectively. So we want to get to a level of unconscious competence. Does that make sense at all? Okay. Move on to page 53. Either or questions. We use them to close the sale. Close the sale. Either or questions allow you to close on the minor point. Okay, there's 3 closing questions. I'm going to write them up here for you. There's 3 minor points, and you can use these for the rest of your career. At the very end of a close, whatever close it is that you're using, you want to get a commitment on a minor point. Buying a car is a major decision, isn't it?
Yep.
So if you say you want to buy a car, it sounds like a lot. Does that make sense? What we want to do is ask something minor. You can ask them a question about the registration. For the sake of registration, did you want to put it just in your name or in both names? That's a closing question. Registration. Or you can close on accessories. Now, when we close on accessories, it would be something like, well, it sounds like we got everything perfect, and it's a perfect vehicle, and we found the one that's going to work for you and your family. Did you want to get that bed liner installed earlier in the week or later in the week? And the customer says, well, it'll probably be best to set something up later in the week because I'm going to be busy in the first part of the week. What did the customer just tell us? They're ready, right? They're making a mental commitment. The third thing, okay, or let's stay on accessories for one moment. On accessories, did you want to get the window tint put on earlier in the week or later in the week? When did you want to get that tow hitch installed? Did you want to get that done today? Did you have time, or did you want to do it tomorrow? Does that make sense? So you can do anything with accessories. So you have registration.
That used to be something you talked about before, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a 4-door car. You want to get that bed liner put in earlier in the week or later in the week? Yeah, but if you promised them something, use it to close later. And if there's something on the wheel.
If you bring up a roof board And you haven't talked about it before, guess what you just done?
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
Give one away.
Right. But you're asking a closing question at this point, and so you already have something already set up. Well, this one will have a tow package, and you got it all worked out, and it's in the deal. But if you don't have a tow package, you're going to work it out on registration. If there's no accessories promised, you would use registration. Or if there's no accessories promised, which is a good question, Ed, what you're going to use is refreshments. All right, here's the deal. With refreshments, what can we say?
Something cold?
Yeah, it sounds like we got everything worked out. I'm glad that we did. Did you want something hot or cold to drink while we wrap this up? And they say cold, then what are they saying?
They're ready.
They're ready to rock. That means they're ready to buy the vehicle. Doesn't mean that they bought it yet, but now they're ready to negotiate. So I'm going to help you get the difference between negotiating and closing, because closing and negotiating are two different things. You can't negotiate with power to hold gross if they're not closed on the vehicle. They have to be closed on the vehicle before we ever work numbers. So right now we're just talking about closing, and these are the three things: registration, accessories, and refreshments. Now let's get back into the either-or questions. Either-or questions allow us to close on a minor point, which we just covered. Either-or questions reduce the likelihood of hearing the wrong answer. If you throw out an either-or, they'll pick one. If you ask an open-ended question while closing, they'll give you have no idea what you'll get. Remember, everything we say and we do conditions the customer to respond in a certain way. Number 3, either-or questions should not be overused. After 5 questions about coffee or soda, they'll catch on. There's really nothing to catch on, though. You just use it at the very end for a quick close. If you say, well, it sounds like you found a perfect car, how'd you want to register it, in one name or two? Well, we're going to put it in one name. But hold on a second. We don't even know what our payments are going to be. By the way, if I don't get enough from my trade, I don't want to go any further, no problem. And I wouldn't expect you to do anything at all unless we got you enough for your trade. Did you want something hot or cold to drink while we wrap this up? Cold. Does that make sense? It's really that easy. But it's having to know those questions. They can throw objections. If you can ask these questions effectively, it doesn't matter what the objection is. You go right back to it and close. You overcome the objection and close. So, either-or closing questions. Would you like a soda or a cup of coffee while we wrap up the paperwork? Will you be registering the vehicle in one name or just Gary's? Would you like to schedule your first service appointment today, or or do you want us to call you next week to get something set up? Would you like your payments made on automatic debits, or would you prefer an invoice? Well, how does it normally work? Well, I don't know. We'll see which way's best. Are you going to drive the new car home, or let Gary just drive this once? At least let him drive it one time. All right. Page 54. Yes questions. All right. These either-or questions, real quick, before we move on to the yes questions, we'll go around the room one time, and then I'm going to give you some more homework. Okay? I want you to investigate. Now, you already know where I'm from. Is that right? Where am I from? Okay, good job, Wincy. Now that you know where I'm from, and I'm looking for something safe for my daughter. She's going where?
Going to college.
She's going to college. You remember? You guys are good listeners. Now, since she's going off to college, where's she going? Appalachian. And from Charlotte to drive to Appalachian is probably how long? I don't know. If you're from the area, a couple hours. Couple hours maybe. Get to Boone, right? So now that you know all that stuff, you're going to investigate. Okay, now I want all of you guys now just to ask me an investigative question, and it doesn't matter if you're interrogating because this is for practice. I want you to investigate, and we're going to go around the whole room. Ask me what I'm looking for, any of that stuff. Not build rapport, not yes questions, just investigate.
Margaret, I noticed that you said your daughter's going to college. Are you looking for some fast speed or automatic?
She doesn't drive at 5-speed, and I really don't feel like teaching her right now. Good job.
Well, you did say the car was for your daughter, isn't it?
Yeah, it is for my daughter. Good yes question. Investigate.
Okay, what would she be using this car for?
She's going to be using it for school. Good job in investigating. Good investigative question. Either or investigative question.
You like this dark color or light color?
I like the lighter colors, and I think she will too, but it's really going to come up to her. I just wanted to get this part done first. Good job. Investigate.
Should we get a 5-speed? I'm sorry, 5 passenger or 7 passenger?
She don't really need a 7 passenger. 5 is fine. How many passengers is this one anyway? Good job. Investigate.
Are you looking for a car, SUV,
Or a truck?
or truck?
Well, customers normally won't help you finish them, but I'm looking for a car. She really wants a car. Investigate.
You want it to be front-wheel drive or have some that's all-wheel drive?
I'd rather her have the all-wheel drive, but it really depends. That definitely has to be at least front-wheel drive, you know, with her going off to Boone. Would she get stuck in the all-wheel drive?
That's the first thing I thought of.
Yeah. She took yours? That's not fair. Good job.
Does she like sports car or luxury car?
Well, she really does like sports cars and luxury cars, but we're going to have to keep it down because we are on a budget. But I'm thinking that, you know, something on the sporty side if you have something. Good job. Investigate.
Navigation?
Something with navigation or without? I'd like her for to have navigation, but it's not a must because, you know, I want to keep the cost down. Good job. All right, now, here's what I want you guys to do. I want you to write out 10 either-or questions. This is your homework.
So you first jumped in, I thought, I said, well, that's good stuff, because it's standard on the leases with DSA4.
That's standard, that's right.
No additional cost.
And that, it's kind of nice that something like that standard, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
All right, yes questions, page 54. When the only and best answer is yes. Yes questions build positive momentum. Yes questions allow you to confirm value. Yes should not be overused. Okay, we're in a classroom and it's obvious. We're in here practicing and it almost kind of sounds silly, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But if you noticed, until I called it to all of your attention, no one really noticed that all I did today was ask questions. Is that safe to say?
Yes.
So, since I got here, I've only been asking questions, but nobody really noticed I was asking questions. But since I called it to your attention, it's kind of silly because it's all yes questions, isn't it? And every time I get you to say yes, I get you to buy in a little bit more, but you don't realize it. But sales psychologists say that 45 yes to 45 minutes increases your closing ratio to what? Yeah. Yeah, now if we had our closing ratio, whatever it is now, increased by 75%, that'd be kind of cool, wouldn't it? All right, so who's in on learning these questions? I am. I'm all in. All right, here it goes. Says I don't want to make a bunch of money. I'm not greedy at all. I just want it all. That's all, okay? But you ready? Page 54. Yes questions. When the only and best answer is yes, yes questions build positive momentum. Yes questions allow you to confirm value. And yes should not be overused. You don't want to overuse it. There's a bunch of examples on here, and you can steal some. So we're going to go around the room. We'll start on this side this time. Now, when asking yes questions, we use isn't it, couldn't it, shouldn't it, wouldn't it. If you look at these examples on page 54, you can steal some of them and come up with your own. Now remember, my daughter's going where?
Appalachian.
To college at Appalachian, right? We're looking for a car, right? Do we have to have nav? What do we know so far? What is it? Not really. Okay. So you're going to ask me a yes question. Yeah. Well, I really like this one. It looks kind of cool.
Wouldn't it be great because it has great safety features for your daughter? You
Yes,
don't
it.
have to worry about her going up.
Yes, and that's real important to me. And that's why I even came out to look at these to begin with. She said, wouldn't it? It started with wouldn't it. It's perfect. All right, now I'm going to make it a little bit easier for you. I'm going to give you a positive statement. You tag it. Okay, we're going to do a tag on. If I say I like black, say black is nice on this car, isn't it? I really like the way this seat feels. The seat does feel nice, doesn't it? Does that make sense? Okay. I like black cars. I like this black car. It looks good.
Oh, that black sure looks nice, doesn't it?
Yes, it does look nice. I like this black car. It looks good. That's sharp.
Black car sure do look nice, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. This seat's comfortable.
It's sure no comfortable, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Now, something like this, you mentioned something about gas mileage. That's going to be perfect. That's going to be perfect with her going to school.
It's sure nice to know that. It would be nice to know that you're gonna be saving money on gas, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would. Very good job, Wincy. No, that was good. I know who I can ask certain things. Good job, Wincy. Give Wincy a hand. Did y'all see that? A 4-door would be nice,
Yes, it would be nice. There's no room.
wouldn't it?
But
Yes, it would. Good job. I really like this car in this color.
Yeah, this color looks cool.
Yes, it does. Good job. I didn't really think about it before, but you know, this is this car just feels good. I mean, I know it's not for me and it's for her, but it feels good.
This car is good enough, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Good job. All right, now here's how you guys get good at this. I want you to write out 10 yes questions tonight. When I went to the class and learned these for the first time, I wrote out like 50. And then I had to write out another bunch of them to teach class because my questions in class are totally different than doing a presentation on the car. I had to learn more yes questions, either or questions, and open-ended questions for teaching class than I did for demonstrating a car. You know, for example, I have to ask questions like, is that true or false? Is that yes or no? Is that going to be more gross or less gross? But the only way that you guys can get better at learning these questions is to write them out. Write them out. I know it sounds silly and school's over, but you can, I mean, it's so important that you go home and do this. If you want to write out 100, you can write out 100, but your homework is just to write 10. Does that make sense? You can take it to whatever you want to.